When the moon is new, it's in the same part of the sky as the sun is, and so it is conjunct the sun. And when the moon is full, it's moved to the opposite side of the sky, and so it is in opposition. What this means is that every new moon will be in the same astrological sign as the sun is, and every full moon will be in the opposite sign of the sun. So what these readings are, they're tapping into the energy of the new moon to see what it's enabling, what it's creating for us, that we can take advantage of now to see it grow into a blessing by the time that this new moon grows into a full moon in the same sign. And so this new moon in Libra is again in Libra because the sun is in Libra. But the moon will not be full in Libra until the sun has entered Aries, which is the opposite sign of Libra. This is about 6 months' time, right? So what these readings, again, are tapping into is what the new moon is creating for you, that you might see blossom into a full blessing by the time it's grown into a full moon in 6 months' time. Go ahead and pick your pile, and whenever you're ready, the timestamps are down below. I'll see you there. You know you found your pile if you've been feeling emotionally compelled to pursue something. And especially if you've been feeling emotionally compelled to pursue something because either you've already put a lot of work in preparation of this pursuit, and you're willing to put a lot of effort into this pursuit. That's what the Knight of Cups is saying, that emotional pursuit, but the Nine of Pentacles at the root of that is giving that idea of the long haul. Either, again, because you've already put in the work and this emotional pursuit just feels like a result of that work, or because that emotional draw, it's something that you're willing to put a lot of effort into. Whatever the case, be advised that one of the obstacles you will face on your journey is yourself. The Eight of Swords is talking about understanding the ways in which we impose restrictions and limitations upon ourselves. And in the position that it's in here in this spread, answering the question of what is there to be gained, or what you will see by the time that the moon is full in Libra, which will happen in 6 months' time, it's that self-awareness. Now, that object of desire that is at the root of this emotional pursuit, what it is that you actually want to gain, that in itself is the treasure at the X. That's the thing to be gained, of course. But the Eight of Swords is hinting, it's referencing that this self-awareness of the ways in which you can stand in your own way is an added perk, an added benefit to going for this emotional pursuit. Godspeed. I hope that helped. I'll catch you for the next one. You know you found your pile if you're becoming increasingly aware of the ways in which something's just not working. What the new moon in Libra is enabling for you is the opportunity to stop the dance, to stop the effort that you no longer feel driven to do. The Two of Pentacles shows a dancer maintaining a balancing act. And so reversed, it's a decisive action to stop the dance and to focus our energy on just one of these pentacles, or to abandon it altogether. At the root of this is the very next card in the sequence, the Three of Pentacles. And what this tells me is that it's two cards next to each other and that they're Pentacles cards. That's what tells me is that you're becoming so increasingly aware of this thing that isn't working. It's something that's surfacing into your everyday circumstance. It's something that you can no longer ignore. At first, it might have been something that you felt internally, and you took that internal knowledge, that it's not working, but you continued the dance and the effort anyway for whatever reason. And now it's surfacing so much. There's so many things, or there are things that you just cannot ignore, and it's now sort of confirming what you're feeling internally, to the point where it's starting to turn into a decisive action to do something about it. The sun as a response to, in this position where it is, which is answering the question of what you will see by the time that the moon is full in Libra. It's a beautiful card to get here because we're doing a reading about lunar aspects to the sun. And that tells me that this is something that you're meant to go through. This is this lesson of addressing what's not working and doing something about it. If you do this successfully, or however you maneuver through it, it's something you'll carry with you. That's something really good to learn, how to move on from something that just isn't working in order to honor ultimate joy. And that's what the sun represents. Aside from what I just said, the sun being in the position that it's in, that's what told me that of this being kind of like a fated thing, something that's meant to happen. But the sun itself by itself means ultimate joy, something that's a joy that's felt deeply and internally, deeply internally, whatever the case. And so if you feel lost or overwhelmed in your effort to move away from this thing that isn't working, these things that aren't working, you're being advised to be guided by your internal joy and peace. And that's what the two reversed Pentacles cards right next to each other also tells me, is that there is in your present circumstance a lack of peace. Again, that awareness that things just aren't working. And that's what there is to be gained by addressing and doing something about those things that are depriving you of peace. If you address the things that are depriving you of peace, well, then you will have made room for peace. And that's what the sun is basically saying here. Be guided by the promise of the sun, by the promise of that deep internal joy, and be guided to it by honoring your internal knowing, your internal peace. I want to note, just to close this out, how in the Two of Pentacles, there is this false, calling it false seems rude, but this artificial sun. It's made out of like the tapestry in the background. But the ultimate goal, what there is to be gained by addressing these things, is a real sun, the true sun, the real warmth of the sun. And the garlands that seem to adorn the dancer in the Two of Pentacles seem to have transformed, alchemized into this organic garland that this figure carries, and he's shirtless and he's free and he's unbound. Because he's, again, no longer putting his energy into things that he doesn't want to put them into anymore. I'm saying he because the figure here looks masculine, but effectively you have at this point liberated yourself from these things that have taken your energy that you no longer want to place your energy into. Best of luck. I'll catch you on the next one. You found your pile if you are currently either going through or you're recognizing the need to go through a deconstruction of something that stands in your life. And this is a complete deconstruction. In fact, it's a destruction because that's what the Tower is. Why I'm saying this has to be complete is because we have the Tower supported by the Star reversed. And the Star is actually the following card after the Tower. The Tower is 16. The Star is card number 17. And so that the next card in the sequence is coming up reversed is that there cannot be a continuation. There cannot be a progression of this energy. Where this tower falls, it has to stay falling. You can't build anything over it. It's gonna crumble and you're gonna move on from it and you're gonna go and establish something somewhere else. And that's what the Emperor is saying. But I'll get to that in a second. What the new moon in Libra is enabling for you is the opportunity to either address this and get in front of it, or it's going to happen and, you're going to go through it. The best thing to do in this scenario is to understand that what's needed from you, or not needed, but what your assignment is in this, by what this spread is saying, is to let it end there. To not allow yourself hope for this to continue, because that's what the Star represents, is hope. And so reversed, it's a lack of hope. And again, that the card 17 is coming up reversed after the card 16 is also what's telling me that this cannot continue. So both of these cards saying that this has to fall and it has to stay there and you need to move on from it. Harsh, I know, and it's easier said than done. But this is what the new moon in Libra is enabling for you. If you take advantage of this energy, if you go with the flow and don't maintain hope and don't try to maintain this in any way, what there is to be gained by the time that the moon is full in Libra in 6 months' time is the Emperor, which is structure itself. The Emperor is, in a sense, an architect. It's someone who has an idea and then sends people to go and get this thing done. So what I'm seeing is the Tower is a destruction of something that is meant to fall, as the Tower means. And the Emperor is the person who moves away from that fallen tower and then goes somewhere else, finds somewhere better to establish something better, something stronger, something that can stand or should be standing because it was built correctly. It was established correctly. It's founded upon something sturdy. And that's all of these things: sturdiness, stability, structure. That's what the Emperor stands for. So this is a very clear-cut message. And I mean, you have all major arcana cards. This was a very direct message. So I'm not even going to waste any more of your time. This already feels like, concise and to the point. But one thing I do want to mention, because the first thing that came to mind before I got the interpretation that I just gave was how the Tower represents Mars and the Emperor represents Aries. And the star being reversed reminded me immediately of a retrograde. And I know at the time that I'm recording this, it's September 2022. And in October of 2022, Mars will retrograde. So that just immediately came to mind when I saw these cards. So obviously that's going to happen in Scorpio season. It'll be after Libra season, and this reading is a little bit about Libra season. But again, it's also encompasses the next 6 months. And the Mars retrograde happens within that time. So this might, either that message of you needing to pay attention to that Mars retrograde, which happens from October 30th, 2022, and it goes into January 12th of 2023. This might be something that it's going to be a process. This is something that it's going to take some time. So be patient with yourself. That they're all majors also tells me that this is going to be something, it's big picture. This is something that's happening because it's a lesson you're meant to take with you moving forward in your life. This is something that's meant to impact you in a way that's going to influence the way that you move forward. Big stuff, I know. Deep breaths. You can do it. I believe in you. I'll catch you for the next one.